Right, we're back, part 2 of my A to Z Nintendo Switch collection. I didn't realise this was going to be multiple parts. It's definitely going to be 2 or 3 parts to this. You've already seen part 1. Because there's over 150 games to go through. I like to show footage of the odd game. I know there's 150 games because I've pulled them all out of my rack. Goddamn. Because I wanted to, every few months, I get the games back in alphabetical order. I go through them and choose what ones I want to keep. I chuck some out. And this time, I thought for the sake of the video, I scanned them all. So there's over 150 games and over £2,500 in credit at CEX. Store credit if I chose to sell them. So majority of them, of course, would have gone down in value. But a few of them, you know, 1 in 10 might have gone up in value. But yeah, I'll show you proof of that. I couldn't film it. I've got the time lapse me putting the games out of the collection, but I could not film me scanning them because I use a camera from the phone and I'm using the phone to scan them. So as always, grab yourself a Belgian beer. And then we're going to jump straight in. So, look what just fell on the floor. NSYNC sealed for the Game Boy Color. You weren't expecting that to pop in this video. Night Trap. A lot of fun with this. It's on everything. It's a limited run game. So this obviously didn't scan. It's not inclusive of the price of anything to do with this video. However, a lot of great fun. I'll show some footage of it in case some of you guys aren't familiar with it, some of the younger audience. But it's like real life. And you're like surveillance and you're trying to prevent things from happening, should I say. But it is quite fun as I talk about it, because me and the missus played that, very good fun. Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap, that is awesome. Really underrated game on the N64. Completed it on the 64. I think it's awesome. It's got some puzzle elements where you don't know what to do. It absolutely blew my mind trying to work out what to do and couldn't get past a certain stage on the N64. If you're trying to complete it now, or you're going to do it on a spoiler, it's fast forward 20 seconds. Basically, I was on a lava level, didn't know how to complete the level, and it was saying there's one more Pokemon to get, and I was like, I've got everyone, like, I've teased them out the bushes, I've done this, done that, and I realised that to throw an apple at Charmander, or whatever his name is, Charmeleon, you knock him into the volcano, and then he evolves into Charizard. So there is more to it than people think. It's not just a row, it's a row shooter. It ain't just a point and click camera game. Do you know what I mean? You don't just going along on a little row journey taking pictures of Pokemon. It's not a kid's game, it is a row shooter in a sense with some puzzle elements. So I hope that sold it for you if you weren't too sure. Mega Drive Classics, there's so much bang for your buck on here. There is so many good games on there. Shinobi, Streets of Rage, Sonic. Expensive games, Gunstar Heroes, Alien, I've forgotten what it's called, Alien Soldier. Some games you probably wouldn't be able to play on original hardware because they'll cost you triple figures. And there's a lot of good RPG games on there. There's hundreds of pounds of original games on here for literally, this is like a £20 game. If you're going to take anything away from this part of the video, it's that if you don't own this and you had a Sega Mega Drive, don't just get this for nostalgia and think, oh, that'd be good. I remember Streets of Rage. This is a fucking awesome game. You'll be playing this for hours. For hours. This is better than a Nintendo Switch online service subscription. And you're paying yearly for that. That's just a one-off. And you'll play this more. Guarantee it. Here's a game I haven't played yet, because I've got the 360 as well. It was a bit of a shoot 'em up. I can't remember if it's horizontal or vertical. But yeah, I picked that up at like a gaming fair convention, if you like. Next stack. Superliminal. I will keep this for a bit, but I need to get rid of it. It's too hard for me. It is a super rare game. It looks like a bit like an escape room thing. And I like those sort of things, but it's just too hard. I'm constantly Googling what to do. That is just a waste of time. I've kept this sealed just because it's Rocket League. Everyone's got it digitally. It's like a free game. But I think I've been a bit of a mug because I paid a lot of score for it. But it's a collector's edition. It's a bit like if you see a collector's edition of Fortnite physical. It's like everyone's got it, but everyone's got it digital. This might be like a game that, you know what I mean? Once it's been and gone, in the future people go, oh my God, do you remember that? So it might be like a shelf piece for a lot of people. Who knows? Here's a good game. My friend Pat bought that for me years ago for birthday or Christmas when I first got the Switch, like 5 years ago or something. That was a remaster. This is a very good shoot 'em up. Graphically, Sega Zombie, I think he said then. Retro Ghetto had this on a Switch video recently. He likes his shoot 'em ups. This is a horizontal one. I don't think he says it's the best one, but it's very affordable, and the graphics on it is amazing. It's a really good storyline, really good graphics. For someone like me who finds them a bit hectic to shoot 'em ups, if you're a bit of a novice to them, this is definitely one that's very good. It is very hard, but it's enjoyable. Very good. Shadowverse, I quite like some of these card games, so I did actually have quite a lot of fun with that. Shaq Fu, I had it on the Mega Drive, played it, and it's basically a remastered one, so I fucked the Mega Drive one off and kept that one. I wasn't a fan of platform games when I was younger. I played the odd one. I loved, well, I was, but my sisters played them more, do you know what I mean? So I liked other games. When I was younger, I felt like platform games are more like for girls, and I would want to play Doom, do you know what I mean? A boys game. But as I got older, I started to appreciate them. So they used to play a lot of Spyro the Dragon. I wasn't a big fan, but I picked this up cheap off Facebook Marketplace, and it's a trilogy. And I love it. I'm obsessed. Like, I played hours on, you know, it's a really good game, but I think I've only played the first one. So yeah, Spyro is really good. So there's a lot of those platforms I missed out. Obviously early doors, of course I was playing Mario and stuff, but there was a period, you know, when you got to a certain age where you just wanted violence. Do you know what I mean? Probably wasted on me. I played a bit of this. Shin Megami Tensei 5. I don't know if I've butchered that name. I don't really care. Streets of Rage 4. Absolutely love the Streets of Rage franchise. Other than the third one, I don't remember playing it much at all. But yeah, I loved 1 and 2. I remember completing the 2, and I played Streets of Rage 1 recently. I'm trying to join in with a Sega Mega Drive challenge. I played it for hours via Sega Mega Drive Classics, and this is really, really good. We haven't it's so good. It's so good. I'll show you some footage in case you haven't seen it, but if you haven't got this, where have you been? I'm sure you guys have. Great co-op, couch co-op, man. It's amazing. Source of Madness, it's an okay super rare game. Not one I'm going to get rid of anytime soon. Not played it a lot. This is awesome, man. Dungeon Crawler, Snack World, like a bit of an RPG. This is really good. Is it an RPG? Is it called? It's like a Dungeon Crawler. I'm not really massively familiar with the genre, but that is awesome. Like, I didn't really know nothing about it. I don't know why I bought it, but I played a lot of time on this, a lot of hours. Really, really good. That was a long time ago I picked that up. A long time ago. Before, you know, when I had like a dozen games. This is a cracking super rare game. Really dark, really good, saddy face. And I think it's starting to become a bit of a desired title, and well and truly deserved, because that is really good. So if you do see that, you know, over £50, it's worth it. It really is. It's a really good game. Some of the super rare games, once they're sold out, they're automatically always will. Say they cost 30-40 quid to buy. Once they're sold out, they're always going to be 50 quid at CEX. But some of them do go down in value, and some of them go up, and that's one that I think is starting to go up now. This is an awesome game on the 360, and remastered, it's so good. That little zooming in of Hitler. With the sniper rifle, once you do a shot, it does like a slow motion. If you get a good shot, like through the eye, it's quite graphic. You see a slow motion through the organs and that, a bit like a Mortal Kombat fatality, but on the battlefield. What a great way. Again, stick that on your cover. You can have that one for free, that quote. SNK Heroines, is that how you say it? So some badass female characters in a versus beat 'em up. It's very, very good, actually. I've had a fair few hours of fun on that. Not played this enough because I need to play it co-op. It's like a horde sort of shooting off hordes of enemies in a third-person shooter. I was going to get rid of it because I've tried to play it twice now, but it's just one of those games that's not enjoyable on your own. So I need to have a games night. And the reason why I'm doing this video is I invited a few people over for games night tonight, and they was busy because I've got no friends. Right, this is a great game. It's a limited run game, so again that with the scan, because as I said in part 1, anything that is outside the UK, even though it's a region-free console, if it's North America or Asia, it's all done through CX. Is how I've basically captured the facts for this video. And yeah, this is limited run game, which is American. This took a long time to come. I've completed the game. You complete in like 4 hours, but you can replay it. Different parts of stories. You learn about the dogs or wolves, what do you call them, huskies. It's a really nice game. I'll describe this as the type of genre this is. I don't know if you played a game called Firewatch. I love it. It's like visually really gripping. You're in a story and you're being led down certain paths. And you feel like you're in a story. It's really, really good. But again, they're only like 4 or 5 hours to play, but they're just so immersive and they're so beautiful. That Firewatch is my favourite. we might come across that. I've completed it digitally. I don't know if I do own it physically. We'll find out in a bit. And Red Lantern's a bit like that category of game. So it's quite a relaxing game where it's really nice, man. I'll put a clip up of this because that is a really, really good game. I think that's that pile. There's so many. This is going to be such a pain in the arse for me to put these games away because I got them out. I was trying to keep them in alphabetical as I pulled them out, put them in the right things you could see from the time lapse earlier. And then I've just messed them up by trying to make this video. So I thought I'd show you guys the game collection. I've just created more work for myself. Here we go. AAA title. I love Luigi's Mansion, complete in the GameCube, but I had to use cheats. You used to print cheats off the internet. The second one I played a bit on the 3DS, but I didn't play a lot of the 3DS. So I never completed it, but I did complete this. Again, I had to cheat quite a bit. I can't say that word. Any help? That's a really good game. Again, it's a cheap platformer, very good fun. This is a very funny point and click. And this was expensive at one point. No, the second one was. I got two of these. This is Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry. It's a whole series. There's games on the Xbox 360. This franchise goes back a long time. If you know, you know. Real OGs know about Larry. There's another game called Wet Dreams Don't Dry Twice. That was quite an expensive game at one point. I don't know if it still is. Here's a game recommended by Radical Reggie a long time ago. I had a bit of fun with it because of the silly mechanics of the body flopping. Just die already. You have to keep killing your character over and over again in ludicrous amount and different types of ways. That's all I can say about it, really. I don't know what to say more than that. Oh, here we go. There's Wet Dreams Don't Dry Twice. I have only played one of them. I can't remember which one. And I got stuck, got frustrated. Oh, here's another beautiful game. You can tell what sort of games I like. This game, man, is really good. Last day of June for Super Rare Games. June is his wife. And this is no spoiler. She passed away at the beginning of the game. And you're basically replaying the same day over and over again, but doing different things. As the day ends, different scenarios happen. And all you're trying to do is save her. But I won't say more than that, and it becomes very difficult. Other people get hurt. So a very layered story, this. Very in-depth, very clever, beautiful. Very, very well done. The fact that people put out games like this in this day and age, you think all the ideas would have been done by now, but this was ingenious, very unique gameplay. I'd like to know if anyone has played this. Is there any other games like this? I just find things like that just really unique, you know, really interesting. Here's a unique game, Little Inferno, but I've only played that briefly. You probably saw me go on about that on a previous Switch or pickup video. You're just basically an arsonist. Is that the right word? Just burning stuff. I need to play it more. I played it for like a couple of hours. My favourite game, as you probably saw, if you watched my videos in the new year, I did the best Switch games of 2022 and the most expensive Switch games of 2022. And this game, spoiler alert, was right up there. I won't say more than that. Star Alloys was good as well. I haven't got the new Kirby title. I want to get that. I've got a lot of credit from trading stuff in from boot sales. I need to check that out. The box art on this is really cool, and that's a sleeve. It's like a retro-inspired game, like a side-scrolling shoot 'em up. Very, very good. Lots of fun in that. On to the next pile. A second Mario Party game. This one was more improved from the original because you could play online with friends, not just couch co-op, but the boards aren't as good, in my opinion. I love Olympic games. I love Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. I love all the titles of the Mario and Sonic Olympic game ones, even the handheld ones. This, I was so excited. I got it at launch, and I'm not lying, no bullshit, you can ask my missus. I was #1 in the world for like a whole week at archery. And then I got knocked off. Like, it's really good. Very, very good. Metroid Prime, I'm probably going to move that on. I moved on the GameCube version. Again, I said before, what sort of gamer am I? Not a massive Castlevania or Zelda fan, like the games, or Mega Man. Some of the big franchises, when things are like, people really like something, it puts me off. I quite like to discover things. I like a bit of an underdog. So when there's a big franchise, I find it a bit too gaslighted, if you know what I mean. Not that it's overhyped, it gets all the hype they deserve, these franchises, but I like Metroid Dread, which you'll see in a bit, because that was very unique. But yeah, I wasn't, I played it a little bit, but I've got no nostalgia of the game, so that's probably why. And I don't have any nostalgia for Mega Man or Castlevania because I never had them. So that's probably why, to be fair. So yeah, that's that one. Monster Crown, this is another one Radical Reggie mentioned. So if you like Pokemon, you like this one. So I got that. But again, I don't have the UK. Oh, it is a UK release. You can get that in CX. Mario Golf, I loved that. I was really excited for it. Had a bit of a fun story mode, but you can complete that in like under 10 hours. I haven't gone back for the other game modes. I did a video, I put the thumbnail up now, comparing all of the Mario Golf games, and I still stand by my favourite. I won't spoil it, but it was either the GameCube or the 64 version. I love some American football games. NFL Blitz is my favourite, but this is quite fun as well. Blood Bowl, things like that. But yeah, Mutant League, a version of that, like Blitz or Blood Bowl, is this really fun game, very cheap. Mario Kart 8, I've kept that sealed because everyone's got it digitally, but this has got to be the ultimate edition of Mario Kart. And I've got a theory. They keep adding, I've mentioned this loads of times, so I'm going to mention it again. They keep adding tracks to this, and everyone's like, when they're going to bring out a new one? And I feel like that's not a number 8. I know like this is a Wii U title, and now it's at Mario Kart 8 and they've added the deluxe. But this game's been out a long time. They keep adding content to it. And notice the number 8 is actually, that's the logo. That's a symbol for infinity. So I reckon that's the last Mario Kart forever. I'm just going to keep chucking tracks on it. That is a conspiracy theory. If I get assassinated by Nintendo tomorrow, it's because of that. Imagine that little red dot just coming now. That was my dead impression. Was that good? Really excited for that because I hadn't played any of the others. And I got that again, I pre-ordered it, got a silly little poster with it. I thought I was going to get a scarf, but I didn't order it through... I wanted the scarf you get with it, but I didn't order it from Nintendo, I ordered it through Game, I just got a shit poster. But I didn't know what was going on, it's too complicated. I need to go back to play it, but I liked the football games in the Olympic, Mario and Sonic the Olympics, do you know what I mean? So I thought I'd enjoy a whole game to it, but it's a bit too complicated. That's a very good horror game. Very, very good horror game for the Switch. I've kept this because it was one of like, when I first started collecting physical, by accident kind of for the Switch, I wasn't going to bother, I was just doing digital. I'd sit there on a Friday night and you could go through every release because there'd only be so many releases a week and you go through what's on offer. I used to buy a game every weekend. But then after a good year of the Switch coming out, there was just loads of games on the eShop, and I found myself going back to the store just for less choice. And this is one of their titles I got early on, and it's quite fun. It's a bit like an Animal Crossing thing, if you like, but a bit more, not a bit more adult themed, but yeah, it's a bit like that, like a farming thing, if you like, and you go around like living like a sim. I don't really know how to describe it. Yeah, quite a good game. Metroid Dread, that is, if you're going to play a Metroid Dread, if you're going to play a Metroid game on the Switch, out of the two, that would be the one I would say. How we're doing, we're at 18 minutes. We can see this out in a 2-part series, I think. I don't think we need it to be a part 3. How are we diddling? Hell is Other Demons, that's an awesome game. Proper retro inspired. I'll show you guys some footage of that. This is my favourite game for the Switch, even though it's on other consoles. Hades is so good. It's like a dungeon crawler RPG, and when you die, you start from the beginning. You're trying to escape from hell. You get a bit further each time because of the abilities that you get, you sort of keep. So you'll get better weapons, do you know what I mean? You get stronger. Replayability, this is amazing. This is a really, really good game. Definitely going to show some footage of this to you now. That is probably... yeah, that's probably like my top 3 out of my personal collection of games for the Switch. That is definitely one of the top 3. Not necessarily one I've played the most on the Switch, but definitely my favourite, one of my favourites. That and Spiritfarer, you know, one of the ones you really have some good memories of playing, very unique. Horace, I thought that was overrated, to be honest with you. I've only played like an hour of it. And I knew everyone was going to be excited for it, so I bought 2 copies of it, one sealed and one to play. So I'm going to end up selling one of them because I thought it's overrated. This is fun, but I just keep getting stuck. It's like a horror third-person sort of shooter in like an isometric, almost top-down view. Very nice looking visually, but I just keep getting stuck. Awesome, man. Awesome if you're into racing games. It's like retro inspired, like a proper arcadey sort of Outrun-ish looking game. Everyone knows about that if you've got a Switch. And it's a very affordable game as well. Out of Need for Speed, they're all great games, but I love Hot Pursuit, I love like, the reason why I love Road Rash as a kid, I love the fact that the cops get involved. I love a bit of police brutality. But yeah, I love it that they chase you, put the spikes out. I find that really fun. And in that game, you can play as a police, which is pretty fun. Oh look, there's the other bloody copy of Horace. Not massively into my Japanese RPGs and stuff. I do dabble a bit in RPGs, but this Final Fantasy VII we all had as a kid and played a lot of it. I think that's the first game I ever saw 3 discs. It blew my mind. But yeah, I got the remastered, but I've been conned. It's remastered for 8. 7 is just the original. So I played that digitally again on the Switch when they brought it out. Ghost Parade, that's a fun, cheap game. Platformer, you have these little ghost friends with abilities that help you along the way. Here's a crap game. I love party games. This is rubbish. It's so bad though, I'm going to keep it. And I paid a fair bit for that, like over 20 quid. From like Smith's when it come out. It's so bad, I'm going to keep it because I feel like, you know, like games are so bad, they're good in the future. Just because everyone's like, oh yeah, I had that, that was crap. Or no one buys it and it becomes sought after just because people think it's worth nothing and they get like almost chucked away. I don't know, I'm waffling, but I shouldn't be waffling, I should be lasagnaing. That is a shit game, it really is. Here's a really good game. This is a not side scrolling, what do you call it? Horizontal shoot 'em up. Very, very good. Graceful explosion machine. That's a nice level entry for shoot 'em ups, I would say, because I'm not like a massive shoot 'em up. It's not my favourite genre. I do enjoy them, but it's not the thing I go to. You know, a lot of gamers, especially retro gamers, that's really their big thing. They love shoot 'em ups. I do like them, but I don't, you know, it's not my favourite genre. But that is a very, very good shoot 'em up in my opinion. I had a lot of fun with this. I only went back to play San Andreas and I played it loads, and now all of a sudden it doesn't work. I've tried like re-downloading it. I don't know if anyone else had this problem, but it just faults the game. Yeah, very strange. It didn't do it till like after a month of playing it. This is a good game, Jana Sisters. This was a follow-on game. So this originally, I can't remember if it got banned. It got in a lot of trouble. It basically copied Mario. But you've got 2 sisters, got 2 different abilities. It's a very good game on the Switch, but it's very cheap. But if you see that, you know, you see these games are under a tenner. Some of them are crap, which you're going to see in a bit, and that's that you'll probably see pull them out of the collection and sell them. But this is one that's actually worth it. This is so fun. I've done a video on these games, Galgun and Galgun 2. I've got 3 of them here. It's a rail shooter, but Cupid basically hits you with 2, and she trips over, hits you with too many arrows. So you want a girl to fall in love with you, but instead every girl's falling in love with you. She's almost like trying to shoot them off you. And that's all I need to say about it, really. It's very, very fun. I won't show any clips on that. I'll just show you the thumbnail. If you want to see the review of those 3 games, then check out that video. That's got to go. I'm ashamed to say I might have completed that. Heaven's Machine, that's a very good fun game, like a top-down shooter, absolutely mad, like retro arcade. Like I'll show a clip of that. Very, very difficult. But that was, I feel like that was quite an early release. I think that was a super rare release. No, that was Grapple Dog. I'm not sure. But anyway, that was one of the big ones. Right, we're nearly there. We've only got so many games to go through. I feel like I've sped up a bit. Now I've had a few Nelsons. It's an absolute mess of games down here, guys. It really is. Bear with me 2 secs. There's shit falling off everywhere. Right, there's one more stack like this, and then we're done. Darkwood. That is awesome, very good, very worth it. This is always out of stock and it's over £50. That is worth it. It's a very good top-down, very dark and misty, mysterious horror game, but not massively scary, just very, very good. This is a cool game, Dicey Dungeons. You basically roll dice like a little card game, and every time you get further, you unlock a different character, which gives you like different stats and makes it more difficult. That's really fun, actually. I'm going to leave that out. I think I'm going to play that today. That's really fun. Haven't played this enough. This is a game that Retro Ghetto piped on quite a bit about in his last Switch video, saying that he really enjoys this. Tropical Freeze. I was quite excited to get it because it's a AAA title. I waited a very long time and I found it in the Facebook Marketplace for like a score. But I only got so far. It's very hard, very good game. This is awesome. I saw this on Switch Up. They mentioned this, Dodgeball Academia. It's an RPG via Dodgeball. I keep saying, how do they come up with these ideas? You think they would have done everything by now? That is an awesome game. It's not that expensive. I recommend getting that. Here's a little clip of it. It's really, really good. I'm a big fan of Deadly Premonition. I went and completed the first one. This is Deadly Premonition 2. So the first one was that I remastered. This was made for the Switch. Not made for the Switch, but modern game. But to be honest with you, I didn't play much of it. Because that came out, and then I bought the first one like a month before this was coming out. Completed the first one, didn't play much of that. This is an odd game. You like Surveillance, it's a cheap game, very fun. I did show it in a video previously, a long time ago. Do Not Feed the Monkeys. You're a very odd game. It's like a sim. You go to work, get money, you got to feed yourself, and you're surveilling. There's like a mystery, stuff going on. It's quite unique, and there's obviously a story in the game which you unravel. It's very vague. So like your job is like you're surveilling cameras, and you can get upgrades for the cameras. But there's only so much time you can work. You got to go to bed. You got to pay rent. You have to eat, feed. It's a point and click game. Very good, and that's very bloody cheap. Destroy All Humans, that was an awesome re-release. So I think I sold my Xbox version recently. Good fun with that. These games are really odd. This one's not open, so I must have had it digitally as well. I don't know how to describe it really. It's like mini games, but scary. Like horror mini games. Someone might need to shed some light on that for me. I was shitting my dick playing that. Final Vendetta, man, this is awesome. What I was saying on part 1 video, I feel like the Turtles game really took the shine away from this. They came out the same week. But this was as close to Streets of Rage you can get. Obviously, Final Vendetta, I think the clue's in the name. It's like Final Fight and it's like Vendetta. They've merged those two together, but it's also like Streets of Rage. And why I said I prefer this to the Turtles game. The Turtles game is okay, 2-player co-op, but it's more fun 4 to 8 player. This is fantastic 2-player couch co-op, but it's also very fun 1-player. You know, I've done a bit of streaming with that game. I just feel like this is... I say it's underrated. It's not, because everyone talks highly about it, but I still feel like it's underrated because the Turtle game costs more. Streets of Rage 4 costs more, and this came out at like 20 quid, and it's still a cheap game to pick up. But like, you ask anyone about it, and everyone loves it. You think it would? I don't know. Maybe they made lots of copies of it. I just feel like that's like really good. I've actually got a big box of that Retrohead UK donated to me, which I'll show you in a bit. Earthlock, that's a fun RPG, super rare game. It dropped in price, I picked that up. Aladdin the Lion King, I feel like this would be rare. I've talked about this before. Do you know why? Because I don't think it sold as well as I thought it did. I loved these two games. I've got them on a Mega Drive. I've got, I'll show you with the camera. I don't know if you guys can see that. I've got the box art sleeves. Can you see that? Of the of those two games, Aladdin and Lion King. Had a lot of fun playing Lion King. It's very hard around my cousins. And Aladdin, we loved it. AABB is the cheat for level if you're playing it right now. And I've completed that game many times, but not without cheating, I would say. And I couldn't wait to go back and play it. And so that's what I did. I went back and played it, and it's awesome. But the reason why I say I think this would be worth something is because I don't think it sold as well as it did. So after like 6 months of this being out, they re-released this for the same price, but with Jungle Book added. I'll show you a screenshot. So I don't know if this has been discontinued or what, but you wouldn't buy this for the same price as the one with Jungle Book, but they're like as the same price. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like this odd. Do you know what I mean? And also on this, you can play the SNES version, Game Boy version. Don't just have to play the Mega Drive and Genesis version. There's a lot of value for money there. Really good game. I knew a lot about Pokemon when I was younger. Didn't know a lot about Digimon, but I saw on Switch Up they talked about Digimon Survive. and that's like a bit like a half visual novel, very sort of deep RPG elements, and it's just a really good game. I don't know if it's a really good Digimon game because I only own one other game on the PS1, which is Digimon Rumble Arena, and I only picked that up recently, so I've never actually played it yet. Which I'm assuming is like a knockoff to Pokemon Stadium, to be honest with you. But that's a really good game, Bandai Namco. Very, very good. It's a tactical RPG, turn-based. But there's lots of exploration and visual novel elements between it. Oh look, sorry, I have bought this game just to prove a point. That's what happened. They brought this one out after this one. So I just feel like this would have no value right now, meaning a lot of value in the future. Do you know what I mean? They just added another game in. It's a real afterthought. It's very unique. I don't know a lot about Fire Emblem, but I respect them. And I've got a few of the games on the Switch. The only one I have played so far is Three Houses, and it is fucking awesome. So yeah, I understand why everyone's jumped on the hype train with that. Tactical RPG, very, very good. One of my favourite games for the system. It was unsupported. I brought this. I brought it thinking it was sealed, but it's just a shop seal. Because I played it digital. It's the first game that I played over 100 hours for on the Switch. So I said I love, like on the previous video I think it was, I said I love those online games where there's only so many of you playing. So like Payday, Rainbow Six Siege, those sort of games. But this, basically, one is a killer, rest of you survivors. You either got to wait 20 minutes out the clock to don't get killed for 20 minutes, or you can fix a car, escape the map, or you can, what else can you do? You can call the police to come and get you. But it's a really fun game, and there was some real... It's got a real die-hard following on some Facebook groups. Even people who create the game sometimes jump on, like the woman does the voice from Vanessa. I've even spoke to her on Facebook before. Yeah, it's just a really good game, but oh look, this came with all limited stuff. I might buy this, try and hunt this stuff down. I want a poster. I want a poster. But yeah, it just got unsupported because of licensing issues, so it's just really bugged. But it's such a good game. You roll perks. It's like, this could have been the best game of all time, man. I love my horror games. I like this genre of game. Dead by Daylight's another one I've played hundreds of hours on. That's probably a game I've played most on the Switch. Right, Fire Emblem Warriors. Oh yeah, by the way, there's much one-player mode on that. It's only a couple of hours, so really, even though I've had loads of fun on this, it's very memorable to me, and I would pay 50 quid for this game in a heartbeat just to own it, you know, because of the memories. But it's not worth you buying it today because it's, to put it bluntly, it's fucked playing it online. It really is. Another Five Nights at Freddy's game, which you guys are going to help me understand. Yeah, Fire Emblem Warriors Free Hope. So I think that's a bit like, you know, this, like, that's not like a tactical turn-based one. I think that's like all-out combat. You know, like there was Highly Warriors, like there's that Zelda spin-off. I think that's a bit like that. Right, last stack, one sec. Right, I'll show these. This is something I bought when I was drunk. Big up Big T Rampage Talk, because he loves this game. I've still not opened it. Tales from Symphonia, because I remember it coming in the post. I had a period of ordering games while drinking and then not knowing what's going to come up in the post. Anyway, that turned up. I've not played it yet. I've not played any of the Tales of games. I know they can be expensive on the Switch. Here's a funny story. So I've got this big box. Basically, I was driving to a gaming convention somewhere with Retro Ed UK. Shout out to Ed. And it was really funny. I was slagging off big boxes, saying like collector editions are really expensive, and like everyone wants them, and they go for silly money. But like, they're ridiculous shapes and sizes. The things you get in there are stupid, and like unless it's just one thing. But like people have loads of these collector's boxes and editions, and they're ridiculous. It's massive. Like, where's that going to go? Like some of the things you get with them are so unique and bizarre. Silly statues and stuff, and you can tell I'm not a fan of big boxes. And I was slagging it off, and then it was funny, and then we pulled up, and he pulled this out to give me as a gift. He goes, "Oh, I don't know if you want it," and I just burst out laughing because he brought it really sweet. He basically had an issue where his one was sent damaged, so he complained, and they sent him two. So he had a spare one, and he saw me. I streamed the game on YouTube like a week before, so he knew I liked it. So he done the nice thing and said, you know, do you want it like as a donation? And but it's really funny. So fair shout out to Ed, because this is the only, and I will stick by my word, and this will be the only big box I will have on the Switch. So I look at that and I think of Ed every day. Shout out to my boy Ed. Just the last, yes. Right, this is awesome, man. It's like a prequel to Final Fantasy, but it's very modern. It's the same sort of mats, but it plays completely differently. It's not turn-based. Is it no? Yeah, no, it's not turn-based combat. Really good RPG. It's a lot of fun. Rampage Talk, shout out to him because he is played a bit of this as well, and I was playing this a few weeks ago, and I was messaging him saying it's really good. I'll show you some footage of it because it's amazing. Don't need to say much more about Cuphead. I didn't get it when I got it. I got it and it was too hard. So I saw it digitally and it looked amazing, but I didn't want to buy it digitally because at the time I was like, no, it's a waste of money. I like collecting physical for the Switch. And then months later, it came out physical. So it's quite clever because there was no sign of it coming out physical. So everyone that wanted the game, you know, sometimes a game will come out, people wait a few weeks for it to come out physical. It was like evident there was never going to be a physical copy. There was like a whole 6 months until it come out, at least. So people would have ended up buying it twice. But yeah, and that came with some fun little pieces in there. I didn't get it at first. I kept dying. I was like, this is way too hard. And I realised I respected the hustle. Like, you know what I mean? I died like 10 times in a row on the first level. I was like, this is bullshit. And then I saw lots of people streaming it, and I was like, oh, I get it now. It's supposed to be brutal. And really fun. Still not completed it. It's one of those games you'll play loads for hours. You'll be stuck on the same level. And you'll go to the pub with your mates, come back, or go sleep, wake up, and then you'll complete it first time. It's like subconsciously the patterns are burning in your brain. It's really awesome. That's a proper gamer's game, that really is. It's a fun game. It's like a one hit you die, blood roots. You sort of run through. I'll show you some footage of it. Very unique. Haven't played a lot of it. I don't think it's amazing, but it's just quite unique, so I thought I'd keep that. Here's a game which probably wouldn't scan because it's not a UK release, but I saw this and I loved Burger Time. Shout out to Neon Dave. He won't be watching this, but he got me into Burger Time, and my friend Rob played quite a bit of it as well on his old arcade cab, which he passed on to myself, and we had a lot of fun with this game. And I found out there was a new version. I still haven't played that with Rob, so when Rob's next over, unfortunately he wasn't able to come over tonight, or he probably would have played that. Bayonetta 3. I've not played any Bayonetta games. I need to leave that out as well. I've not played that yet. What an idiot. Astral Chain, not played nothing. Didn't play it at launch. Waited for it to get cheaper. Picked it up cheap for Facebook Marketplace. Yeah, it's like a futuristic cop where you're sort of controlling like a demon to your advantage, or like, I don't know, a cyborg. I don't know what you call it. You're like on a leash. A very unique game. Very good game. Beautiful. Probably pushes the Switch to its limits, to be honest with you. But I haven't played enough of it, just because, sometimes you got too many games to play. Animal Crossing, I thought I'd get one of those sealed. I brought it digitally in lockdown, like a lot of people did. I didn't play any Animal Crossing games before then, but the real-time elements got me a little bit, because if you're busy on a Sunday, there's certain things you could never play. Do you know what I mean? But I like the idea of it where you come back, if you've gone 2 days and your island's full of weeds. It's very clever. Right, this is sealed. This is a digital game which I had, and then I found out they had a physical one, and I brought it just to have. So this is an amazing, I like my horror games, but I don't like them too scary. It's like a fun horror game. So it's a scary game, not a horror if you like. You're playing the perception of a baby through his eyes, and it's quite a deep story about an alcoholic mother on there. And it's just a really fun horror, which you can complete in like 5 hours or so. It's very, very good. It's just a very good game with a fantastic story. Among the Sleep. I'll show you some footage of that. I highly recommend that.
What's this? 5 thirsty animals upon a dry, dry hill. We could use a drink, they sang, and started to drill. Unless we reach water with our newly dug well, I think we'll have to bid each other fare thee well.
Guys, pause it. There's about another 10 minutes left, I reckon. Grab yourself a beer. Go to the toilet if you need to do so. A short hike. It's not open because I completed it digitally, and then I found out it got a release. So normally when Super Rare Games have a release, limited run games is different. They bring out big games everyone's heard of like years later, but Super Rare Games find independent games which you've got a big following and bring it physical for them, which I think is amazing. But I've never really heard of the games, but this is one I had heard of and played and completed because I think there's a Nintendo Switch UK podcast. I'll tag them in to this video, so shout out to them. I think they mentioned this, or some of their viewers, listeners, sorry, mentioned it, and that's why I checked it out. Very, very good game. Arcade Spirits, that's not open. I think I bought this by mistake. There's an arcade simulator game, which is cheap, and I thought this was it. This is a visual novel of arcades. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to leave that out. I'm playing that tonight when I have a beer. This will make you laugh. I was buzzing for this, and I still haven't played it. I love my Atari 2600, 7800, but I didn't want to pay 30 quid for games that I've got already. And I played the long game, and it worked out well because they didn't sell out of all these collector editions, and eventually the collector edition went for cheaper than a normal. It made no sense. Like I made a video on this ages ago, like a short. So I think, like, say this game was 30 quid. After months, they dropped it to 25 quid. But for some reason, there were so many of these, I think they panicked, and I got it for like a score. It made no sense. But I told people, so hopefully you watched that video and you brought it as well. I love Crash Bandicoot, the trilogy. Where is that? Have we done that already? Right, I must have picked that up earlier. The trilogy, I went back and played for the wife, and we completed all 3 of them. But the 4th one we haven't completed yet. The 4th one's not as good as 1, 2 or 3. Captain Toad Treasure Track, I got that recently. Again, I didn't want to pay full whack for that. It's a Wii U re-release. A Wii U re-release. Crikey. That's very fun, but I don't know. I played it on holiday. No, it is fun. It is a good game. Here's another game which is in my top 5 for the Switch. Carry On. That is very clever. You play as the monster. As you consume people, you get bigger and bigger. It's got BAFTA awards. I'll show you some footage of it now. It's won some awards, and rightly so. That is a really, really good game, Carry On. That is awesome, man. I hope if you're watching this, you get that. Oh, I need to get rid of that. Dark Souls. That's too hard for me. Cave Blasters. A Super Rare game I played a bit. Like a retro-inspired. I don't know what you call that genre. It's quite good. We didn't have Contra. What was it called? Robo something. I can't remember on the NES. But this has got no barcode. I must have got it from America. You know, imported it. Contra Road Corps. It doesn't play like a normal Contra game. It isn't a side-scrolling one. I think it's like third person. Like isometric view, I think. It's definitely not as good, but it's still a fun game. And I'm pretty sure that is quite cheap. Yeah. Oh, this is a game that I actually had loads of fun with. So, I haven't played RPGs, I find too in-depth. I like them a bit more easier, tongue-in-cheek. So, for example, I've completed Dragon Quest. But anything modern Dragon Quest is too hard. And if you're like me, you like RPGs, but there's just too much going on, may I introduce you to one of the GOATs? Cat Quest 1 and 2. It's sealed. I bought that. I've completed Cat Quest 1 and I've completed Cat Quest 2. They take like 10 hours to complete. They're very basic RPGs. They're very fun, like I thought with Dragon Quest. Some of the early... That's why I love RPGs on the Mega Drive. They're not that complicated. I really like early RPGs, and then it just went a bit mental for me. But that is really fun. There's some comical bits in it. It's like, it is really good. It looks like a kid's game. It's not. Crash Team Racing, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that got a port. I said I'm not a massive fan of Castlevania, but I'm no idiot. I was slagging off limited run games in the first video, but fair play to them for bringing that out. The Castlevania collection. On the NES, I only own Simon's Quest, which is probably the worst out of the 3 originals. But it's got Castlevania, Simon's Quest, Dracula's Curse, Castlevania 4, which is the SNES version. So it's got all 3 NES, the SNES, Castlevania Bloodlines, which I'm not actually familiar with, Kid Dracula, Belmont's Revenge, and the Castlevania Adventure. I don't think it's got Symphony of the Night on there. I only know the NES versions and the SNES. I'm not actually familiar with the others. There was one on the Sega Mega Drive, but I don't know if that's one of those ones. But yeah, that's well worth it. I've kept in this just because I liked Crash Dummies when I was younger, but this is a crap game. It's a cheap game, so I knew it weren't going to be good. But I just like Crash Dummies, and it's a cheap game. It's not very good. I've summed that up. Chroma Squad, that's really fun. It's basically like a knockoff of Power Rangers, but like in a TV show. It's an RPG, but you're playing out, you're having fights, but it's being filmed. It's quite unique, very fun game. I nearly went to gift this to someone who likes RPGs recently, who I met up with, and I actually didn't take it with me because I pulled it out, went to give it to him, then I realised I really like it. So even though I've only played a couple of hours, I need to go back to that. Right, that is everything. So I've hopefully kept that to under 50 minutes. If you haven't seen part 1, please check that out. It's only half an hour long. So yeah, there's over 150 Switch games here, with over £2,500 store credit if I trade them to CEX. And the reason why I went through these games is because 2 or 3 times a year, I get all the games out and I put them back in alphabetical order because they get muddled up. And by doing that, I highlight some games that I've forgotten about and I go back and play them. And there's some games that I think, why have I got that? And I get rid of them. I'm Scott, a Marathon Gamer, and hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and see you soon. Cheers.
Marathon Gaming. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.